all of my life and most of hers. She was my sister. We weren't super close, but a genuine affection for each other, mostly. Nancy had a dark side. She was 9 years older than me, and sometimes she would tease me and poke and tickle me and do all other kinds of terrible things. She thought we were having fun, but I was angry and resentful. And for some reason, my otherwise righteous mom would adopt a callous attitude towards my suffering, and one day she said, "Be careful now. You're bigger than Donnie is, but someday you'll grow up and then you're going to be the smaller one." But Nancy just went on laughing and continuing with her heartless torments. She would also play the snotty older sister role in a serious way every Saturday. I don't remember why Mom wasn't around, but Nancy was responsible for giving the house a Saturday cleaning, and she gave me the task of dusting the living room baseboards and the furniture. How I hated that job. But she wouldn't let me go till it was finished. Would have been a 12-minute project for a normal person. But I was far from normal in those days. Well, actually,
Most did.
and I would putter and malinger at the job and whine and pout and plead with Nancy to show mercy toward my sufferings. Let me quit work and go outside, play in the woods lot that was beckoning me out our back door. But she hardened her heart against her brother's pitiful condition, would force me to keep at the job for hours if necessary until it was finished. I remember the joy of finally fleeing the prison cell that Nancy had turned that living room into, and resolved never to go near her again. Well, until she made lunch. Nancy really did have a dark side, and she would ball up her fist, and she would punch another person, intentionally causing genuine pain. She actually did that on 2 occasions that I know of, because the recipient both times was me. First time I was 5 years old, I suppose. Nancy had been ironing, asked me to put away the hot iron. I looked for a place to set the iron down so I could roll up the cord. I was afraid of burning a hole in the ironing board, so I set the hot iron on the piano. The sizzle and smoke and scent of burning varnish made me wonder if I had made the right choice. And my misgivings were confirmed when Nancy rushed into the room, quickly put the iron on the ironing board, and punched me right in the nose. It was the first time I was ever punched in the nose, and I clearly recall the surprising pain and the funny odor that I suddenly seemed to smell. She later recalled that it had never happened, but she was just blocking a memory that I can still recall with vivid clarity. The other act of violence occurred decades later. We were together for Christmas, and Mom reminded Nancy of how she used to torment me, and now I was a bigger one. I said, "By golly, you're right, I never did get back at you, sis." I grabbed Nancy's arm, but she quickly hauled off and punched me good right in the middle of my diaphragm. I had to sit down and put my head between my knees. "Len and I wrestle around together," she said. "I'm not backing down from a shrimp like you." Well, we all know that I'm just telling tales. I said in a Facebook posting that I put up a couple of days ago, Nancy wasn't perfect, but as far as I can tell, she was a perfectly good person. Nancy was so good, she was difficult to get along with sometimes. Never in my hearing did Nancy ever deliberately make a hurtful comment about or to another person. I never knew her to commit a shabby act, except for the time she punched her little brother in the nose. She never displayed a moment of rage. She intended to be a church every time the doors opened. She never did anything against her conscience. In honor of Jesus' birth, Nancy decorated her house every Christmas to a degree beyond that of anyone I ever knew personally. Her Christmas tree looked like something you would see in a park. I never figured out how she decorated the top of it without the use of a commercial fruit picker. She had manger scenes and angels and little holiday venues on every surface in her house. Not many of us remember the rare occasions when our cousin Ruthie would visit with Nancy and the two of them would be together. But I remember whenever the two of them were in the same room, the room seemed to throb with positive energies. They were really good together. I'm grateful on her behalf Nancy's suffering has ended. Someone commented yesterday, a good sidebar to Nancy's passing is that she and our cousin Ruthie are now together again. I can picture St. Peter and the angels rising in salute when my humble sister finally passed through the gate into that place where her heart had always been, and into the presence of him who she had served as faithful handmaid from her childhood. Because after all, in the words of one of the hymn writers, there is the throne of David, and there from care is released the shout of them who triumph, the song of those who feast. And there, they who with their leader have conquered in the fight, forever and forever, are clad in robes of white. Let all of us pray that Nancy's testimony and our memories of her life will continue to encourage us to do good and to be good in the hope of one day joining her and Ruthie in that eternal celebration.
Amen.